Good morning, student. Today in chapter number 6, we will cover two topics, relation with state and Virsheva tradition. This is part 3 of lesson number 6. As you know that in chapter number 2, we already we already studied that the important chiefdoms in the Tamil region in the early first millennium CE. And from the second half of the first millennium, there is evidence for states, including those of the Pallavas and Pandyas of 6th to 9th century. While Buddhism and Jainism had been prevalent in this region for several centuries, drawing the support from the merchant and the artisans on that time of the community, these religious traditions received occasional royal patronage. Patronage means dan. Tamil Bhakti hymns of is the poets opposition of the Buddhism and the Jainism. Now the relation with state or the patronage of the Chola rulers. Patronage means the grant given by the Chola rulers. The Chola rulers supported the Bhakti traditions and built temples for Shiva and Vishnu. Means these Chola rulers they gave the alms or dan in the form of the money as well as in the form of land. Some of the magnificent temples for Shiva, such as the temple of the Chidambaram, then Tanjavur and Gangai Konda Cholapuram were constructed under their patronage. So all these main temples were built under the guidance and under the patronage of the Chola rulers. Chola rulers built temples often to claim divine support and proclaim their own power and status and adorn those temples with stone and metal sculpture to represent the vision of the popular saints. So these Chola rulers they were built the temples only to getting the divine sport, and they all through these temples they were showing their power and status, and they were adorn these temple with the help of the different type of the stones and the metal sculptures. So in this way the Chola rulers they were built the Shivas and the Vishnu temples. They made the spectacular representation of Shiva in bronze sculptures. Here you see in this picture, this is the metal. Uh, uh, this is the metal sculpture of the Shiva. Uh, the Chola rulers introduced the singing of Tamil Shiva hymns under the royal patronage, taking the initiative to collect and organize them into the text. On that time, many saints they were also lived in these temples, and they were also wrote the text, and that text known as the Tevaram. According to the inscriptional evidence, the Cholas king Pranta I had constructed the metal image of the Apar, Sambadar and Sundarar in a Shiva temple. These were the saints. So Pranta I also made the images of these saints, and at the time of the festivals, these all these images of the saints they were also carried in procession during the festival of all these saints. This is the Brideshwara temple of Tanjore. You see the image. This is again the another view of the Brideshwara temple, Tanjore. This is Madurai, Meenakshi temple in Madurai. This is the main part of the Meenakshi temple. Okay, now the next topic is Virsheva tradition in Karnataka. The 12th century witnessed the emergence of a new movement in Karnataka, led by a Brahmana named Basvanna. This Basvanna, he took the initiative and bring this Bhakti movement in Karnataka, who was initially a Jaina and a minister in the court of Chalukya's king. His followers were known as the Virsheva. His followers were known as Virsheva. It means heroes of Shiva or Lingyat. They were the warriors of the Linga. Lingayat continued to be an important community in the region or to date. It means till now we also see that these type of peoples. They worship the Shiva in his manifestation uh, as a linga, and men usually wear a small linga in a silver case on a loop strung over the left shoulder. So in this way they were carry a small linga on their left shoulder. That one is in a loop of the silver case. Lingyas believe that on death the devotee will be united with Shiva and will not return to this world. This one uh, is the faith of the Lingyats in this time even also. Therefore, they do not practice funerary rites such as the cremation prescribed in the Dharam Shastra. So, what they were did with their dead bodies? They were buried their dead bodies. The Lingyas challenged the idea of caste and the pollution attributed to certain groups by the Brahmins. So they were also against the caste system, and they also questioned the theory of the rebirth. This won them followers among us those who were marginalized within the Brahminical social order. So in this time, the people, those who were not in that four varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, the outside of that varnas, they were also the followers of this Lingyats. Lingyas also encourage certain practice disapproved in the Dharam Shastras, such as the post puberty, it means early age marriage, and the remarriage of the widows. They were against this one. Our understanding of the Virsheva tradition is derived from Vachana, composed in Kannada by women and men who joined this movement. So, how can these were the main sources? This one is the main source which give us the knowledge about this Lingyats. Thank you, student.